It's Dennis Devy with Reonac Energy Systems. We're here at the Shnier Gesco LP up in Brampton. We've recently completed a lighting retrofit with our Think induction lighting, changing out 400 watt and 1000 watt metal halides at 28 feet, approximately 400 fixtures. I've got Doug Wilcox here, the Director of Operations with Shnier, who's going to join us to talk a little bit about the project and the success it had. Doug, thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Thanks for having me.
This project, you guys actually spent about 14 to 16 months doing a survey of the types of lighting that was available.
Yeah, that's correct. We actually did a 12 to 14 month study of T5 and Think induction. We've had those in our buildings for 12 to 14 months, so we get the opinions of our guys on the floor. We obviously couldn't see the potential savings with having just a few fixtures in, but from a perspective of lighting and operating with that lighting and the sensors and so on and so forth, yes, it gave us a great idea in regard more to the maintenance side.
Okay, that's so that had part of the play on it when you looked at the T5 to the Think lighting.
Yeah, T5s they had a bit more of a maintenance to it and replacement to it as opposed to the Think induction. So.
Especially at 28 feet, if you had 6 times the bulbs at 28 feet, that would have been pretty costly to be changing bulbs out every 2 years instead of a 10-year warranty.
Correct, very costly with over 400 fixtures out there.
Something I found very unique about you guys is you're a very successful company, I guess you'd say. You're one of the biggest in Canada, or you are the biggest distributor of flooring products in Canada.
Yeah, floor covering solution products, yes.
Floor covering solutions of all types. So yes. You guys do hardwoods, carpeting.
Right. All surfaces.
All surfaces. So you had quite a large array or mix of aisles and floor types out there. In the area where we did the demos with our product against the T5 light, I know that one of the big selling points was your forklift operators weren't getting the eye glare off our product.
At the higher levels of the racking, more specifically within the palletized racking as opposed to our roll good racking, which has a 16-foot aisle. So with the light coming down, more in the racking of the palletizing section, they weren't getting the light up at a higher level, correct?
Yeah, and the forklift drivers actually commented they weren't getting the glare in their eyes like
correct.
They were on the T5.
It has a little bit of a bluey tinge to it with the Think induction, but once you get your eyes adjusted to it, because it is a different type of lighting, it is much brighter with less glare, so on and so forth.
Yeah, it is a higher quality, kind of like outdoor lighting, which the eye is designed to operate in. So correct. Andrew always says it's the cheapest eye care program that could have been put in place with the employees.
Being a unionized environment, yes, very much so.
Yeah, and you guys are unionized.
Yes, we are, correct.
Yeah. So your employee acceptance was very important.
It was very, very important. We obviously utilize our floor staff in almost every decision we make operationally, whether it be from a service perspective or cost perspective. So they were a big part in this. They were all interviewed and talked to and so on and so forth. So they played a big, big part in this. Yeah,
you actually had done surveys with the people on the floor after the 6 months of test phase.
That's right.
And I think we achieved a 98% approval rate on the induction.
Somewhere in that range. I don't know the exact number. More Andrew, our operation manager, Andrew Midwinter, performed that survey, but correct. Somewhere in that area, we got an approval rate that was very, very high.
And as Director of Operations, I know you're very involved in the financial feasibility of the project. What made you guys decide to move ahead the project with a more costly product than a T5 up front?
From a perspective, obviously the rebates played a big part in it, which is great from our perspective. The government helped assist us in a lot of this. The assessed value of reduction in cost showed to be higher than the T5s in the electrical usage itself and the maintenance side, and more particularly the maintenance side, which was a big concern for us. I think the estimate was around 63% of reduced electricity costs. Our studies have shown over the last 5 to 6 months we're somewhere near about 56, 57%.
So you've achieved a 57% energy savings over the last days. That's incredible.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, we did target 60 to 63%, so we're pretty much in the mark. I think we tweaked a few lights at the end, which may have added in. Yeah. So basically that translates to over $600,000 saved in your first 10 years with the Think induction.
For the operation of this building, that would be probably a conservative estimate considering the fact of what is going to happen to hydro bills in the next 10 years.
Very good point. Yeah. That's based on the current energy rate for sure. So, something else that was a big proponent of our product over the T5 lighting is our product has no volatile mercury in it. And the T5 product, which is still a fluorescent tube full of dust or volatile mercury, over the life you're changing those bulbs like crazy, and the mercury adds up. As a matter of fact, we're over 12,000 milligrams of highly volatile mercury that you guys have stopped from going into landfills or being recycled by going with our product. So very big environmental impact you guys had. Just a few of the items here on the project overall, you saved over 462,000 kilowatt hours a year. That's a big savings. That's the equivalent of saving 670,000 pounds of CO2 from entering the atmosphere.
Correct. I'm glad to have played our part.
It's something people can equate to or understand. My favorite is always the trees. It would take Shnier planting 12,894 trees a year. Adult trees is what it would take to neutralize that CO2 level.
Correct.
So in essence, over the first 10 years, it's the same as Shnier planting over 128,000 trees for the environment.
Not bad. Not bad.
Massive.
And considering we're in the hardwood flooring industry, that's helpful.
Yeah. So congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Fantastic environmental step. Overall, I mean, the project's done. You did 14 months of research. You've had the lights up for 6 months. You've got your employee feedback, your bills. On a 1 to 10 scale of success, how would you rate your lighting retrofit?
We're very, very happy. Very, very ecstatic about it. Everything that we were told from a project perspective on the Think Induction lighting has come to fruition, which in some projects is not the case. So from our perspective, we're very pleased with it. Our employees are very pleased with it. We had a day in July where it hit 52 degrees with the humidex, and the warehouse never got higher than 38. So that's another added impact, I think, from a lighting perspective.
What would have happened before?
We'd have people going home. We'd be feeding all kinds of water and Mr. Freezies and ice creams and whatever it may be to keep our guys cooled down. So from that perspective, it's got that added benefit too, that is not spoken about when you're actually initializing these projects.
That's a very good point. We hear that a lot. One other thing financially helped you guys and productivity-wise, I got, was you guys actually put a generator on site, because the odd time you'll get power outages up to a few times a month where you are.
Yeah.
How did that impact the instant restart compared to your 15-minute wait time?
Our instant restart, we only had one this summer, and our instant restart was somewhere around 7 minutes, I believe it was. So
after the power went down?
Half the time it helped.
And before, if the power tripped, it would take 15 minutes for the lights to warm up. Then when the power came back on, it would jump from generator back to power supply, and you'd lose another 15 minutes.
Exactly. So from a productivity standpoint, and in the province of Ontario, obviously, where we do have power outages on a regular basis due to consumption, it's very beneficial. Fortunately for us this year, we haven't had a lot, but you never know, so it's good to have in your back pocket.
Very good. Part of this project, we did about 400 lights, retrofit almost for a one-for-one. We also did 35 of the existing, the exterior lighting at Shnier, where we changed out 250 and 400 watt wall packs to our 100 watt around the building. Another dimension to this project was we achieved extra energy savings by adding in 163 motion sensors in the warehouse. So out of a total of approximately 400 lights, we put on 163 motion sensors, which will give much greater energy savings because they're turning off when they're not in use. So you guys have, how are the people related on the floor to this?
I think absolutely fabulous, to be honest with you. Our biggest concern with the sensor part of the business, or sensor part of the project, essentially was obviously when you have a metal halide light and you fire it up on a sensor, it takes time to warm up. So obviously we were told with the Think Induction this is not the case, which it is not. And the sensors have worked admirably great out there. From our perspective, when they fire up, it's 10 seconds before it's at full bloom, and everything's great. And that's part of our savings. That's one of our biggest part of our savings in this project, was the ability to have that light fire up so quickly versus the metal halide.
And you guys have a lot of forklifts moving at a high pace in here because it's a warehouse environment. In some aisles, we've actually got 4 out of 5 lights on motion sensors.
Yeah.
How have you found the reaction time to those forklifts driving down the aisle?
Phenomenal. The sensors are working great. The lights are working great. We haven't censored the 2 end lights of each aisle, which is the smart thing, because when you're driving by an aisle, you don't want it to kick in. So the 4 in the middle are censored, which makes sense. But there's no issue. We've had no complaints with our guys from a lighting perspective. So it's actually worked quite well.
Good. Overall on the project, if you had to do it again, would you be doing it the same way you did it with our Think induction light?
Well, as you know, we've looked at our other buildings with you guys. We have 4 other buildings across Canada, and we're looking at those buildings, and we'll continue to look at those buildings to see if we can do it, and that's how happy we are with it.
Very good. Thank you very much, Doug.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
We're just in the back here at Shnier Gesco LP. We just finished doing the front boardroom interview. I'm here with Deborah Lugaway, who's in the back and was very involved in the project from the start of it and has lived the light in her daily operations. Deb, we just wanted to get a few questions from you. How do you like the light? First of all, you guys have been running with it for under a year now, but coming up on a year, I guess.
I love it. It's night and day in comparison to what we used to have. Yeah. Absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, you guys had metal halides before, so there's a lot of glare and not as good a uniformity. Now, as you can see here, we're getting incredible vertical acuity. You can read the barcodes, the numbers, easier on the eyes.
And all the way up to the top. I couldn't read the top ones before.
So before with the old lights you couldn't read the top.
No.
Now you can read it.
No.
And didn't your guys' scanners actually increase in
That's right. We went up about 6 to 10 feet actually on the scanners because of the lights.
So you can scan 6 to 10 feet further.
Absolutely.
Getting up to the high rows.
Absolutely.
How's the feedback been? You guys have how many people work in the back of your ballpark?
Oh, just under 40 warehouse workers.
40 warehouse?
Yeah.
And you're actually unionized?
Yes.
So their feedback's very critical and important to Shnier. How's the feedback been on a percentage basis out of 100%?
Oh wow, it's been great. From what I've gathered, probably 80 to 90% just love it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And the other 10 couldn't care less?
Probably.
Yeah, so we've got some very good feedback.
Yes.
Anything specific you've noticed in the benefit of the light?
Less picking errors because we're now picking the correct products. We're not missing out. So that's definitely been...
That's costing your company less.
Yes, definitely been a plus.
How productivity?
And just picking things faster. Because you don't have to, same with seeing things, you don't have to bring it down and then realize you've got the wrong product to put it back up to find the skid that was beside it.
Perfect.
So by being able to read all the way up to the top, I had no issues.
So you've actually increased your productivity.
Yes.
And Andrew always says it's the best eye care vision program you could have.
Absolutely.
Less eye strain, less fatigue. We often hear from people in the back because they don't have that eye glow.
As I told you in the past, just over a year ago, I had LASIK eye surgery done. And so I was a little concerned with my eyes as to how it was going to be.
Yep.
Maybe took me a few extra days, more than other people, to sort of get used to them. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's kind of like moving outside your work. It's natural light, which is how the eye's designed to work.
Absolutely.
So if you guys had to do it again, I mean,
in a heartbeat.
You did tests with T5s to our lights, and you're obviously satisfied with the choice that you made?
Yeah, we definitely made the right choice.
Yeah. Thanks, Deb.
Thank you.
I'm just here with are you Kevin?
Yep.
Oh, Kevin Dennis from Reonac. We changed out your lights here about 6 months to a year ago. You were working here before with the old lights?
Yep.
Okay. How do you like the lights?
Oh, a lot better.
They're a lot better?
A lot brighter, a lot more clear in here.
Yeah, have you noticed, driving a reach truck, you were looking up all the time. With the old metal halides, did you find if you looked at that light, you got a worse eye glare than you get with this?
Yeah, you got a glare from the metal around it, but not these ones.
So these don't give you as much eye glare?
No.
Do you notice your visuals is a lot better when you look up higher now than it was before?
Yeah, it's a lot more clearer to see when you're going through the racks.
It's a lot clearer to see. Okay. So overall, you'd say it was a good move to put in these.
Oh yeah, very good move.